Hello and welcome. I am Exelite, and this is my podcast, Enter Night. And it wouldn't be a podcast if I didn't have my best friend, Rob. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Tracy. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm a bit of deja vu here, but yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
I am too. For those who will not know, we have already done part of this podcast and something went wrong. So we're back.
By popular demand.
So today we're going to talk about the ghost civilization that was found in the Sahara Desert and the mummies that were found. But before we get started, Rob, would you like to do the housekeeping again?
I certainly will. Right, guys, if you're watching and got this far, hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and leave a comment because we love to hear your comments, and share this video with some of your people, some of your friends that you like, and maybe people you don't like. Just share it.
Yep. And
So
then
yeah.
if you stumbled upon here and you used to be subscribed to me and you haven't seen videos from me in a long time, please check that you're subscribed because YouTube has been unsubscribing my subscribers. So please check and then resubscribe, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the Sahara Desert, two female mummies, perfectly preserved in the sand, were found. And scientists took a DNA sample from them, and they were preserved so perfectly that they were able to get an entire DNA strand. Usually, they can only get a partial strand. So it was pretty impressive that they got this whole strand. But the amazing part is they found that there's no connection to human DNA, which is weird to say the least. They had a tiny, tiny fraction of Neanderthal, but everyone living today has more Neanderthal in them than that civilization. And they were kept separate for millennia. Sorry, my blood sugar's high. That was actually a deja vu. So back then it was lush and green and jungly, and they had rivers with all kinds of life in it and all kinds of different animals and a lake the size of Germany.
Germany, yeah.
They had mountains, and it was just completely different from the hell on earth it is right now. So they stayed to themselves. It's so hard to get to this destination that you have to take quads. You cannot walk there. You have to have motorized vehicle and one that can go over hard terrain. So, what we're going to talk about today is if they do not have human DNA, what could they be? Also, I proposed this question to Rob last night, and I said to him, if they were completely enclosed amongst themselves, wouldn't there have been inbreeding?
Mm, yeah,
I mean, there had to have been.
yeah.
And then that passed down their non-human DNA. So, what could they be? What are some options? Can you name some options that you are thinking about, Rob?
I got I got a very from looking at the pictures of the actual two mummies.
Hmm.
Excuse me, sorry, got a frog in my throat. I got a mother and daughter vibe.
Hmm.
Don't know why. It's got a mother and daughter vibe.
That could be. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's just my gut telling me that.
Uh-huh.
But they were very, very well preserved,
Yes.
unbelievably, considering they hadn't been mummified, had they?
No, they hadn't.
They just basically died of
Died.
what looks like natural causes
Yeah.
and were put somewhere to be buried. They were buried and they've been preserved. I don't know.
So,
Maybe it was the heat. Maybe played a
yes,
part.
the heat, the sand.
Yeah.
If that had been some sort of moss pit before, the moss pits provide um, they give mummies, they can mummify, moss pit can mummify a human body all by itself, and then it eventually turned to the sand, which continued that process. But if they're not human, what are the possibilities that came to your mind that you think they could be?
Well, obviously, the first point of call is you've got to go. If they're not human, then obviously they're alien.
Right?
And when I say alien, I don't necessarily mean little green men. I'm
Right.
saying alien, as in unidentified. We don't know who they are.
Hmm.
We don't know where they're. Obviously we know where they're from, but we don't know anything about their lives and how they got here. Were they the original humans?
Right.
Were they the original humans on the planet? Obviously, I'm a Christian, so I believe that God created everything. Now,
Mm.
did God create them first? Were they the first human beings?
Is that where Cain was kicked out to?
Maybe, maybe. I think you mentioned the other day about the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, actually, Mark commented below and
Yeah,
said that what about if it was the Garden of Eden? And which, of course, the Bible doesn't really say whatever happened to the Garden of Eden,
no,
just
it
that
doesn't.
Adam and Eve were kicked out. But it doesn't say if it continued um, to exist. So could it be a non-human like practice run? You know what I mean? That went
Mm,
for thousands of years. Or, biblically speaking, could they have been cast out angels? Sorry about that. Trying to get that
well,
under control. Um, you can't hear that binging in the background?
no, I can't hear it. All I
Oh,
can hear is you.
oh,
Your
okay.
beautiful voice. That's all I
Oh,
can hear.
oh, thank you. There's a beeping in the background because my blood sugar's high. Anyway, moving on. Could they be fallen angels? Because they wouldn't have any human DNA, right?
No, they wouldn't.
So could they actually be an alien species? Like a real alien species
Mm,
who lived and thrived, and then what? What happened to them? There's no sign of them anywhere else. They didn't have contact with humans because otherwise there would be DNA from humans. They did have a small amount of Neanderthal, but so small that it barely registers. And like I said, we have more Neanderthal in us today than that these mummies do,
mm.
which is crazy. So to me, I feel like so A, they're not human.
Mm. Well,
Or it was the first practice run. But they were
yeah,
alive for millennia. And
yeah,
was this a civilization, another civilization that was destroyed, like Sodom and Gomorrah?
yeah. It could be.
That would make sense to them not having any relation to human DNA.
I've just had a wild thought.
Okay. Bring it on.
When I have wild thoughts, you know what? Sometimes they don't make sense, but right. This is my wild thought.
Okay.
Say they were either the first run of human beings
Uh-huh.
or cast out angels
Mm-hmm.
or something. Say there was something divine. So the
Right.
cast out angels doesn't really work for that, but something from God. Don't you think it's a bit of a weird time to find them with what's going on in the world?
With every other story being about UFOs,
Yeah. And
literally my news feed is filled with UFOs. There was some UFOs seen today somewhere that were cone shaped. But if you go that way, some people think that the Bible says that we'll be seeing a lot of UFOs in the end times, which is going to be the explanation for why, when the rapture happens, a whole bunch of people leave.
mm,
Of course, there's many more scholars who believe that um, that book was written about the times that was happening back then, Rome and the fall of Rome, and um, that kind of thing. So it's it's I don't know. And I know
mm,
a lot of people, are thinking, well, it isn't, they don't have any inclination to believe that it has anything to do with the Bible, which, I mean, fine, fine.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, so then what is your guess? That's what I'd like them to answer. Like if you don't believe that has anything to do with the Bible, which is, fine. Um, I have questions of my own. Then what do you think it is? What is your explanation? Could it have been the an alien? And maybe is this part of the supposed proof that's supposed to be coming out in the next 2 weeks about aliens and alien civilizations and the fact that this administration met with a whole bunch of Christian pastors and told them to hold on because their world is going to be shook
Mm,
by what they're going to tell them. And that a lot of people are going to be leaving Christianity because of the this new alien news that's coming out. So
mm,
is this in connection with that?
mm,
Now, of course, they don't look from the skeletons like how we conceive that aliens look, right? But there's a senator, a Republican senator woman, who says that if you go read the Book of Enoch, and we've talked about Enoch lots of times, if you go read the Book of Enoch, that is going to tell you what this news is going to come out as. And his version of angels were fiery balls of fire that had rings around them that twisted and twisted and twisted, and 100 eyes, and completely petrified. And in every encounter in the Bible that somebody encounters an angel, it's a terrifying experience.
yeah.
So why we do this whole cherub thing, I'm not quite sure.
No.
But um, could could this be that? Could this be where Cain was sent? Because there was civilization.
Mm.
Cain went to it. Um, and did did Cain have human DNA? At what point does human DNA start? Like you got the Neanderthals, and what point does it move into just plain human DNA? Because this group skipped all that.
Yeah, it's because I don't ever. If you're going to go along the path of evolution,
Hmm.
if you're going to go, not talk about the Bible, if you're going to go down the path of evolution,
Hmm.
why are we not? Why are things not still evolving? Why are apes not still evolving into human beings or into the next evolutionary step? Everything's staying the same. Nothing's evolving. I mean, we're evolving. We're getting cleverer. We're
Hmm.
evolving to our environment.
Hmm.
Um, but like apes and monkeys and things like that, if we came from that, why are they not? Do you understand what I mean, Chase? Why are they not evolving then still?
Yeah,
Why has it stopped all of a sudden? Well, not all of a sudden, but over millions of years. But,
I maybe that's because it takes millions of years, so we wouldn't see it in real time.
mm, maybe. Yeah, I never thought of that.
You know, we're just here for a blink of an eye in comparison to how old the Earth is and how old humans are, and um, but I don't, I don't, I don't know. They don't look anything like you would expect, and they also don't look like the were Nephilim were angels and humans. So wouldn't there be some human DNA if it was a Nephilim? But Nephilim are giants.
Yeah.
These aren't
No,
giants.
no, they look quite small to me. That's the impression
Yes.
I got.
Yeah. And so because I thought, maybe it is Nephilim. Maybe this is proof that there was Nephilim, but there doesn't seem to be, looking at their bodies, at their mummified bodies, anything that points in the direction to Nephilim. So maybe it is something to do with the Garden of Eden because that's what it looked like. Beautiful,
Yeah.
lush, nothing like it looks like right now.
And wouldn't you think that if it was the Garden of Eden
Hmm.
and we were cast out of the Garden of Eden,
Hmm.
do you think that one way of getting rid of the Garden of Eden would be covering it in sand?
Well, yeah, that would make sense, right? But it doesn't
Yeah.
say, like, it says Adam and Eve were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. It doesn't say ever that their offspring were not allowed into the Garden of Eden, right? I'm sorry about my throat sound. It's very allergy right now. Um, but could it be possible that their offspring continued to live in the Garden of Eden? Is that possible? But then they said that the angels closed off the Garden of Eden and have been hiding it.
Mm.
In which case, would we find it?
Why have we not found any more bodies there?
Yeah, well, I don't, yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if they just haven't released it, or yeah, why haven't we? They did find tools and bowls and, ceramic sort of things, but they said that that evolution was slow compared to humans as they were evolving. They were making weapons and even decorations and idols and things for their homes, where this community didn't seem to be catching up to that at all, which is probably because they didn't have any contact with humans.
Mm.
But even
Yeah.
then, you would think that it would kind of keep up the same, unless they were, I don't know, less intelligent. But they're not Neanderthal, obviously, because they have barely any Neanderthal in there. So, like, one, maybe a half a Neanderthal squeaked through somehow, and that was it. Or they're an alien civilization and they were here first.
Yeah.
or during, and they kept to themselves intentionally. And could they be
Yeah.
doing that now?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. You know, we assume that because they looked human and maybe could have passed as human, that they automatically would want to mix with other humans.
Yeah,
No,
right.
I don't want
Me either.
to.
Me either. I get it. I want to go somewhere for some millennia.
Yeah, I'll go to the Garden of Eden.
I'll go too. Um, but I saw this YouTube video of this man who his father died, so he felt like he could release the things his father had told him, and his father was a former NASA employee, possibly a former astronaut.
Mm,
Anyway, apparently very famous in the realm. And his father, there's a photo of a group meeting at, I don't know, some political meeting, had NASA people there and stuff, and they were whatever it was just a meeting. And he pointed out somebody in the front row of this meeting and told his son that this was an alien. He looks completely human, that he was an alien and he came and he helped um, NASA and their scientists. And the guy shows the picture, and he looks completely normal. And who
mm,
knows? Maybe aliens can. I mean, they've got to be more advanced than we are. Maybe they can camouflage, or maybe they do look like humans, and we walk past them every day,
yeah,
which would be freaking weird. But it's strange timing, especially considering all the missing scientists. And then now there's 10 missing or dead scientists in China as well.
mm,
And all the UFO stuff coming out. I I also, on the other hand, feel like I don't know what I can believe anymore.
ah, see, that's where they've got you.
Yeah, yeah. And this information that the pastors were warned about that's coming out that is going to rock Christianity to its core. Well, is that real information or is that just some AI shit that they're put together and they're going to release that? We don't
Yeah,
know. We can't trust anybody.
no, that's the problem.
Yeah. Um, so I mean, keeping us scared. It's throughout history, leaders have needed to keep people scared, right?
Yeah,
Because even in like, let's say, like wartime, people don't usually vote in another president because they're
yeah,
scared, and this one's already been here doing the war.
mm,
So, is this something to keep us being little sheeple, you know, being good and afraid? And I don't know, but it just, it's just amazing to me that there could be a civilization on Earth that lived for thousands of years and we're not human. That boggles my mind.
mm. Well, it is. It is. I think that's what they wanted to do. I do honestly think that they're quite happy for us to be scared, to not trust the news, put
Hmm.
the news on to find out what's not happening,
Hmm.
and yeah, and the releasing it's strategic where they're releasing certain pieces of information at the moment. I think
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't think it is just the news is reported. Obviously, there's stuff that's going on now which gets reported, and gets news programs on it. But other stuff,
Barely. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, uh, we'll tell them this,
Mm-hmm.
just tell them this and see how they deal with it, and then we'll tell them something else and see how they deal with it,
Yes.
and then we'll tell them something about this, and we'll drop this in, and we'll just keep.
Easing them into it.
So everybody's hopping from toe to toe, wondering where to step because they don't know what's happening next, and everybody's in power is happy.
Well, here's the ironic part. In 2020, there was a little thing called COVID-19, and people were
Hmm.
dropping like flies. And Trump came out and said, by the way, aliens are real. We have proof. But that wasn't the storm to release that information in. That people were losing. I personally lost my dad. And people who have diabetes were at risk, or asthma, which you could tell I have asthma, I have diabetes. We were worried about just living through this thing, right? Just can we just get through this? And then it went away. And now we got all this stuff happening with the files and the war, not war in Iran. And then, oops, by the way, aliens are real. They're coming out again. Like, this is the
Mm.
second time that this administration has announced that aliens are real. It didn't fly the first time. Nobody gave a shit. And we were like, yeah, we know, but millions of people are dying. Do something about that. So that also makes me be distrustful that it's maybe the shiny thing. Look at the shiny. Look at the shiny. Don't look at the list. Look at the shiny.
Yeah, yeah,
So I just don't know. I just don't know what to think about this. I think there's two options, maybe three options. If you believe in the Bible, I think, and there are certain Christian sects that believe that the earth was flooded or destroyed more than one time. Um, and maybe that was the first go around.
yeah.
And so it could be that. So they would have no connection today to today's human beings. Um, or an alien civilization.
Mm.
Or if you believe in the Bible, um, angels that had been kicked out. And we don't know what angels, I mean, the Bible describes them as super scary,
Mm.
but when they're not being super scary in the Enoch way, and like that man whose father worked with NASA said, they looked like humans. Did they look like just humans? So I
Yeah,
feel like there's got to be just three things, possibilities. So by the way, if you guys think of any fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh things below, please drop a note. Let us know what you think. Um, that this civilization was. I
yeah,
don't,
definitely.
I can't think of any other options.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your ideas in the comments. What, like Tracy says, what do you think? You must have some thoughts on this.
Hmm.
Do you think that we're right or we're on the button with what we're saying, or have you got some kind of different scenario that you'd like to put forward to the group, to the channel in the comments?
Hmm.
We'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear it.
Yes. Yeah, I would be very interested in hearing what your point of view is, because this is mystifying to me. This is mystifying to me. And then they just released that they don't think they think that the scientists just released that they think that the pyramids had to have been built with some extraterrestrial help. What what is happening right now? I feel like I'm in
Well,
a
that's
completely different universe, and I don't like it. I want to go back to the 80s. I liked it there. I was
yeah.
comfortable there, and I don't like
Mm.
what is it's crazy right now, and I don't trust anything coming out of this administration. And if that upsets you, that's fine. You don't have to be here. But I can't trust the motive.
That's true.
So, not the scientists aren't separate. And it would be to say that it would bring down Christianity would, well, first off, I mean, if it's going to bring down Christianity, then it's going to bring down other religions as well, other Abrahamic religions, Muslims, Jews, right?
Yeah.
Um, it would bring those down too. And what if our
Mm.
makers are just lizard people and they
Mm.
play us like a, because scientists have said that they believe we're in a simulation, which is like so crazy. But things do happen that kind of feel like that sometimes. Like, okay, this is a weird Tracy story. Okay, so excuse me about this. I have this favorite pair of warm socks. Okay, I, okay, I know it's already starting off weird. I have this favorite pair of warm socks, and my son went through and he vacuumed the house, and the my sock, one of my socks was placed on the chair. Everybody's got their own space in the house, So where I
Mm.
sit, one of my socks was sitting there. Okay. And I went and tried to find the other one because I was going to put them on. Couldn't find it, couldn't find it, couldn't find it. My husband looked for it. My son looked for it, couldn't find it. Took everything off of everything and looked under everything. No sock. So I was like, you know, oh no, I have to get a new pair of socks. Oh, shoot. So I get up, I throw a bunch of laundry in the wash machine, and I'm talking to my son, and my husband goes to bed, and I come out to the living room, and their exact same position is my sock.
No.
Yeah, the exact same place where I sit is my sock in plain view. So I picked it up and I thought, oh, well, maybe I brought it over here and for some stupid reason I laid it right there. But no, its pair was right where I had put its pair. And I go, oh my God, you're not going to believe this. So my husband's like, what? What? Thinking the world's coming to an end. And I'm like, my sock is, look at it. It's just right there. And that kind of stuff feels like that. Um, what was that old TV show that was about
The Twilight
the
Zone.
Twilight Zone? And I always talk about this particular episode of the Twilight Zone where people move in like every minute and they rearrange everything. They put exactly where it was, and then sometimes they forget to put your car keys back, and you
Mm.
rip your house apart, and then all of a sudden you look again, and exactly where you thought your car keys were going to be, they are there again. And so maybe we are in some sort of a civilization. What? What's the word I'm trying to find?
Similar.
No, is it civilization?
Civilization.
No, simulate, to simulate, pretend like it's a game, like a video game.
A
And
simulation.
yeah, so, maybe we are. And in this part of the game, we find mummies that have no DNA, and we're supposed to get distracted by that. Or they accidentally went, oh shit, we left those mummies out there. Damn.
Mm.
You know, I don't know. Even that scientist, the one who was paralyzed, super famous.
Stephen Hawkins.
Stephen Hawking's, he thought we lived in a parallel or a simulated environment.
Mm,
Is that not crazy?
yeah, very
Anyway,
crazy.
we covered a whole bunch of shit today.
The thing is with this, you'll never get a definitive answer
Yeah,
because it just will lead you down rabbit holes all the time, and you end up going back on yourself, and sometimes you end up contradicting yourself, and because it's like there's never going to be well, it's this. Well, Tracy, someone told me today it's this.
yeah,
This is who they were. This is why they were. Why they were there.
yeah,
So case closed, and be
right.
like, oh right, okay, that's fine. You're never
Yeah,
going to get that.
no. And they can't prove a negative. They aren't humans, but they can't prove a negative. Then what are they? Well, we don't have as far as I know, the technology to figure that out. Because if we're working with humans usually, or Neanderthals or whatever. So you can't prove a negative. Okay, they're not human. So let's prove what they are. Well, it's still DNA. They can't,
Yeah,
if there's no other DNA like it, how are you going to prove what they are?
that's very very true.
Rob, we have 2 minutes, 59 seconds.
Well, right.
So it's time for us to say goodnight so that we don't get cut off like we did last week.
Okay.
So rude, by the way. All right. Well, this has been interesting to me.
Hmm.
I
Maybe we can
love
revisit.
weird stuff like this.
Maybe we can revisit this one day in the near future if we get any more
Yeah.
answers or any more anything else comes up about it. We'll do another podcast about it. So
Yeah.
and remember to comment. It's really important. We love to read your comments.
Yes. And I haven't been getting notifications of comments lately because I just like answered a comment that came 8 days ago and I didn't even know it was there. But when I do get the notification that there's been comments, I always reply to you. I know a lot of YouTubers just don't reply, but I always try to interact with everybody. So feel free we will have a conversation, and I'm all up for that. And I know Rob would be interested in that too.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely, definitely.
Well, thank you for coming to my channel today, and thank you, Rob, for, as always, being an excellent co-host.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, I guess we will talk to you later on the
Okay.
next one. See you on the flip side.
See you later. God bless. Bye.
Bye.